Ding 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 ding
Yeah, yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the new show, Movie Talk, with my buddies. I'm Chris, and I'm here with another buddy, Chakra Zoo. What's up, my dude? How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. I'm excited to chat with you. What did we decide on for this discussion?
Nicolas Cage movies.
Hell yeah.
The good, the bad,
And
all the above.
the
And in
fugly.
between, on all the in between.
Yes, the in-betweeners, the wieners, and the Nicolas Cageners. I got a whole bunch of list of movies in front of me. I actually forgot how many of his movies that I have seen, but I'm hoping that the ones that I haven't, maybe you have, and you can fill in the gaps of the ones that I don't know about or whatever.
Sure, I'll do my best.
Cool. I got some of the older ones. I actually didn't know he was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'm not for sure if I've actually seen that one. Valley Girl? Do you know Valley Girl?
No,
What about Rumble Fish?
I must be really old.
Yeah, these are older ones. We're in the 80s. Peggy
You
Sue
gotta-
got married?
You're getting closer.
Okay, the next one on here is Raising Arizona, which I know you have a lot to say about, and I have a little bit to say about, so let's talk about Raising Arizona.
One of the early Coen brother movies. And the thing with the Coen brothers, they like to reuse people. And you'll see a lot of people, if you watch this one, you'll see other movies where he reuses the same cast. It just, different parts. Like John Goodman.
Yeah, yeah. I've only seen it once. I really enjoyed it. I remember really liking it a lot. It was very quirky.
Yeah, I like the way it's shot. It's got some really good, he likes to shoot, a lot of the scenes are in the trailer house, and it's weird. It reminds me of kind of like Kill Bill, where they're trying to shoot in a little tiny, it ain't even a double wide, it's like a single wide, and it's kind of, it looks so real, you know what I mean? Like the shag carpet to the paneling.
Yeah, the set design really good and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, when he gets thrown through the paneling wall, it's so flimsy. It's like, that's how those trailers really are. They're really that cheesy. And the popcorn ceiling when he rakes his knuckles and screams. I mean, it's
Nice, yeah.
hands down one of my favorite fight scenes of all. That part there where he's fighting John Goodman. That's pretty good.
Who's John Goodman's partner? Other criminal partner guy? Doesn't he have a dude?
Yeah. Well, when they come out through the mud and screaming, and then he reaches down in the hole that they dug out of prison and pulls the other guy out by his foot. And I'm trying to think of his name, but I think he was in
I got the cast in front of me. It's got Holly Hunter, William Forsythe, Randall Craig Cobb was the big crazy guy. Trey Wilson.
Yeah, I liked him too because he played Leonard Smalls, and I like how when he comes in, he's talking to the guy about the baby and about retrieving the baby, for ransom or whatever. And he's real soft spoken. Like you think he's gonna be like this gravelly, angry dude, and he's just so like mellow, but it kind of makes him even more creepy.
Holy crap! Was William Forsythe the extra dude? Is his brother? He was the partner guy? Damn, he looks older than John Goodman.
They're both pretty damn old right now. And Frances McDormand was in it too.
I love
she's
her.
from Fargo, There's another Coen's movie.
Yeah, she's good. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
She was in three billboards outside of something, Missouri or whatever. Did you ever see that one?
No.
That's a pretty good one.
And I like at the end where, after the John Goodman and William Forsythe, they have that dye pack blow up in the car, and they realize their life of crime is going nowhere. They go back to the prison, and this is like a month or so later. The hole is still in the ground that they came out of, and they go back into the hole. Like, it's so silly.
That's awesome. I totally forgot.
It makes no sense, but I just thought that was hilarious.
I swear I couldn't even tell you what year I saw that. I mean, that was many years ago. I think we said neither one of us have seen Vampire's Kiss, which I guess is his the craziest, one of the craziest first performances that Nicolas Cage did.
Yeah, if I saw it, it didn't stick in my mind, but I'm pretty sure I did because I've watched all of his stuff, but not that one. Not that one. That sounds pretty bad.
Some weird clip last night. I was watching a few clips from it, and one of them was like he just goes off on the alphabet, like yelling at somebody. You're like, which letter was it? Was it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I? Like he just goes through the whole thing and like a bunch of other weird shit. I don't know. It looks really fucking crazy.
1988. Oh, that's an older one.
Leaving Las Vegas. Do you remember that one very well?
Yeah, that was a great movie. I think he won an award or something for that one. But that was outstanding. The way he portrayed a alcoholic and what it looked like to
Yeah,
be that type of alcoholic. It's kind of the first time I've ever seen it that where he had the shakes and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I never knew it got that bad. You know what I mean? So
That,
he
that
did a
yeah.
great job.
That was another older one that I definitely have seen. I just don't remember it super well. As we go through this, you'll notice that some of the newer movies I actually remember a lot better than the other ones. But The Rock with Sean Connery.
Yeah, that was outstanding. I
Yeah,
don't know about buying him as a scientist. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That he's some handling nerve agents and stuff like that. You know, I
yeah,
believe Sean Connery's part in it. He played, he was outstanding, and the other guy Ed Harris, he's
yeah, yeah.
outstanding too.
I like Ed Harris.
So they
Somebody
had a
had
good
a
cast.
There was a weird theory that Sean Connery's character in this was like an old James Bond, like James Bond got himself put in jail or prison or whatever, and like he grew up and then helped Nicolas Cage. It's a
Oh,
stupid theory, but that was just something I heard somebody say one time.
I could see it. I could see it's a story that they could adapt to any elsewhere too, not just our prison, but it makes sense with Alcatraz for it, the appeal and stuff. People get a kick out of that. So it was a fun movie. I like that Hummer scene in the beginning.
He gets a
Them like
Hummer.
they
Who does he get a Hummer from?
he gets his hair cut, remember, and he ties the string or whatever onto the thumb of the guy, and then he escapes, and they have this big car chase through Sacramento or San Francisco, sorry, before he finally, he ends up accepting the mission and all that, but he kind of tries to double cross him and escape.
The one big moment of that movie that I remember vividly is one of the bad guys, terrorist people, is like standing in front of a rocket, and he likes Elton John or whatever, so he's like, you ever know that, heard that song, The Rocket Man? And he's like, no, I don't
Rocket
listen.
Man.
Yeah, it's like, that's you are the Rocket Man, and then he hits the button, and it's the rocket shoots the guy out. I love that shit.
Yeah, that was pretty cheesy. There were some pretty good one-liners in there, and it wasn't just Nick Cage. I mean, Sean Connery had his own. He had plenty of his own one-liners in that movie too. So
Nice. Con Air.
yeah,
I remember Con Air pretty well. I liked that one a lot when I was younger.
he had the best mullet in that movie,
Yeah, and he had that great Southern accent.
and I liked where he fights in the cargo hold, so it's like he can't stand up all the way.
Yeah.
And that the guy that he's fighting I think it's the guy that's from Riddick, the bounty hunter guy. I think it's the same actor. But anyway, I like that little fight they have down there where it's uncomfortable and they're in like blue jeans and stuff, and it's like it's just hilarious. And John Cusack was pretty good in that movie as
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
agent.
Oh, I loved John Malkovich in that. He has one of my favorite like villain lines where he's like all the police people are like coming in like a caravan, like a shit or whatever, and he's planning it out. He's like, we're gonna blow up the one at the front, and we're gonna blow up the one at the end, and then we're creating a box full of lots and lots of dead people. Like, he says
Right.
something like that, and I love that.
Yeah, when they're out in the desert there. Yeah, that was a good scene. He's good in that, and so is Steve
Oh
Buscemi or
yeah, yeah,
Buscemi.
yeah, Buscemi, yeah.
He was like the the weirdo with the doll, but he was like a
Wasn't
regular dude,
wasn't he like
But
people thought he was like a child killer or something, or he
right,
was.
but he was like I don't know. Nick Cage didn't like having to like rely on that guy, but he was like the only one on the plane that was halfway normal, or that he could count on. I don't know. It was a weird. Then he had the big guy there, Michael Clark. Wasn't it Michael Clark Duncan? No, it was Ving Rhames. Dave Chappelle was on it too, but remember he got wadded up in the frickin' landing
Oh
gear.
yeah.
He was trying to get back on the plane after they were taken off or whatever. O'Brien, from Star Trek, he was the DEA agent that had the Corvette that John Cusack stole or hotwired, and then it got pulled behind the airplane and got destroyed. This classic '63 Corvette, beautiful car. He sees it flying through the air.
Oh yeah, nice. I remember brief moments of some of these things. It was some of these I did see when they came out, like in the '90s, so I don't remember them all that well.
O'Brien takes off in the helicopter and he flips off John Cusack, and he says because he's going to get there first, he's going to that airfield where they're waiting for him, and he goes and asks this charter guy, I need to get to this air base, and he says, well, you can drive it if you got a fast car, and then it shows the rear of the license plate of the vet as he takes off with the other dude's vet, and then
Nice.
he gets there, and then So the guy is at this air base, and when he sees his Corvette go flying through the air, it's like the last thing he's even like, how did my car get out here? It's just the look on his face is like priceless.
Love it. You want to talk about Face Off? You got any
Sure.
notes on Face Off?
That's a good one where Nick Cage is kind of crazy. He plays a good. I liked him being the crazy guy rather than the cop, the agent guy. I liked him being the bad guy, because they both got to play each other's parts.
That was what was weird to me when I watched it when I was younger. Like, I guess I didn't put it together that these two actors were trying to pretend, they were trying to act as if they were the other character. And
right.
So it kind of got a little weird for me. And for some reason it was weird to see, like, John Travolta play the bad guy against Nicolas Cage, even though Nicolas Cage was the bad guy. I don't know, it seemed really odd to me.
Yeah, they both had to play both parts. They both had to be the cop, and they both had to be the bad guy at one time or another in the movie. And I thought Nicolas Cage, when he was full-on crazy in the prison...
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he starts losing his mind. He, lost
yeah.
himself in the character. And he's just... his eyes as he's looking around the room, just smiling and, like, laughing like a crazy person. And he also has another great line in that one where he says something to, like, the stewardess at the beginning, and he's like, I'm gonna call you a peach. Or he's eating a peach, and he's like, I could eat a peach for hours. He says something fucked up like that.
It's kind of creepy, yeah.
She ends up being like one of the cops that tries to get him or something.
That was it was all right. It wasn't great. It was a decent movie. Travolta does a good job. He's a good bad guy. He was good in Broken Arrow and stuff like that. So this was kind of his whole getting cast as a bad guy. But it was good. They got to both play both parts. So I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. Gone in 60 Seconds. I definitely saw that one, and I thought it was pretty good. It's almost like a precursor to like the Fast and the Furious type stuff.
Well, it's a remake, but they did a decent job. I mean, it wasn't for lack of characters. The one guy in here is they got Robert Duvall in here, and then they got the guy from The Postman. The Shakespeare. The asshole. The villain in it is the one that's threatening his brother. Is the guy that plays Destro on G.I. Joe. So he's a good bad guy. Huh. And then it's even got Timothy Olyphant from Deadwood. So, I mean, there's just a million good people. And it did decent at the box office. I think
having a good cast, yeah.
I think Angelina Jolie is probably the worst. Of all the people in the movie, she's probably the worst one as far as her lines and stuff. They try to make her into a car chick, and it ain't even car terms she's using. It don't even, like... It don't even make sense. So it really makes me cringe. Yeah. Bad enough, she's acting like she can hotwire this car in like 60 seconds, and it's just it doesn't work that way. But it ain't to be picked apart. It's just to be a fun movie. And
60 seconds. So that's why they call it that.
Yeah.
The Family Man. I think that one, or like The Weatherman or something. One of those is like a Christmas type one, right? Where like he forgets who he is, or he like forgets his family or something like that, and then he has to like
I think The Family Man's the one where he sees different realities of what his family could be or how it could turn out or whatever, and then that's one that I enjoyed long time ago. I watched that when it first came out. It was fine.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that too. It's kind of a nice like Christmas family movie type thing or something, right?
It's a good date movie. It's interesting. Tia Leone, I think, is in it. She does a good job, so it's a good movie.
She used to be in more stuff during the late 90s, early 2000s.
Her heyday.
Yeah. Wind Talkers. I didn't see that one either.
That's an excellent movie, and that's got the that Indian guy in that one is like in everything that there's an Indian in, like that Hostels movie, or if you see who I'm talking about, he's a ugly, Angry Joe and Other Joe. It's like Other Joe's like favorite actor is that Indian guy. It's about the Navajo that talked on the radio during I think it was, oh boy, I'm going to get it wrong. Maybe Korean War, maybe World War II, but the enemy was trying to figure out the code. Like they thought that people were talking in code, but it wasn't. They were just talking in their native Navajo language. So they brought these Indians over, and they'd have one on each side, and then they could talk to the front line and didn't have to worry about having a code book and stuff like that. Huh. But that's what it's about.
Oh, okay.
Is the Navajo Marines special. It was like a big secret. So, yeah, excellent movie.
National Treasure?
Yep, I know. I enjoyed both of those.
I did too, yeah. Those were kind of fun. They were a little, like, kind of Da Vinci Code-ish.
Yeah, with more based on American history rather than a bunch of, like religious history or European history. It was more about what our founding fathers did and hid, and kind of like, that was cool. You know what I mean? It was more of a kind of a basic treasure hunt rather than some crusade or something
Yeah.
like it was actually attainable, like what they were looking for. It wasn't like 1,000-year crusade looking for some cup. No, I mean this is like it's here. That just follow the clues and.
Was the second one? Wasn't the second one where they like find a room full of treasure in Mount Rushmore or something? Or like that's where the Declaration of Independence is like in the heads of the Mount Rushmore or something.
I'm not too keen on the second story as much as I am the first one.
All right. But you said Lord of War. I don't think I saw Lord of War. What was that one about?
Lord of War is where he's a Russian immigrant from Odessa. I don't know if it's New York or whatever. They're in the major city. And anyway, he goes next door. His family owns a restaurant. He goes next door to talk to the other business or something, and he sees this Russian mob hit come down, and he realizes that people run restaurants because people have to eat, but then also people sell guns because people got to kill people. So he gets into like the gun business, running guns with his brother.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought it was.
And it kind of gets out of hand, and it's good because it's a good movie. He's hiding from Ethan Hawke the whole time, barely getting away. Ethan Hawke's the federal and ATF agent, but there's some great scenes in it. It's full of the competition arms dealer. It's the guy that played Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit movies or in the Lord of the Rings movies.
I always forget that dude's name. He was in Black Panther. He was in a couple of the Marvel movies. What the fuck was his name?
I don't know. Well, the black guy in Lord of War, I think, would have been a great. I don't think he was in Black Panther, but if he wasn't, he should have been. If not, it should have been. If not Black Panther, his dad or something, because he's got a believable, African accent. It sounds right. And I like Lord of War because they have all these Russian generals, and because he's like related to him. He's got this uncle, and then when the Soviet Union falls, his uncle is like this general, and he works with him to like sell off all these helicopters and tanks and all these weapons and stuff. And his uncle, even though he gets better offers from the competition because they're related and he trusts them, he won't deal with the other guys. And it's a interesting story anyway.
Okay.
And Jared Leto's in it, the Joker.
Really?
He's in it. He's his brother. He does an excellent job in this movie. Actually, he does a good acting job in this movie as a Russian strung out brother. You know what I mean? He plays a believable role.
I've seen Jared Leto in I guarantee a ton of movies, but I only ever knew his name when he played the Joker. That's the only time I ever knew that he was an actor or anything.
He was in Fight Club. Remember, he was the thing that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He had to destroy.
Like,
that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he didn't look like Jared Leto for very long because he got his face rearranged, and then he looked like shit the rest of the movie. You couldn't even tell it was him. So that's where I first seen him. But he does a good job in this one.
The Wicker Man.
Wicker Man was great until the end, and then it was a big middle finger to you. It was
Not
like,
the bees! Not the bees!
Yeah. I was like, dude, it's like I don't like bees and I don't like fire, and it was like both things, and it was just weird, the whole cult thing and the.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like sometimes movies fall apart in the end. If they don't have a good solid ending, then it kind of feels like you just wasted your time.
It's just you keep thinking, oh, he's you can get out of that, or you can, and he just sits there. He dies. It's just he got into a few of them like that where he just died, knowing he had to face the facts that he was going to die. That was another one that kind of kicked you in the balls at the end.
That's another movie I hadn't actually gotten there on the list yet because I don't remember when that one came out. But I guarantee I saw it, but I just don't remember it. I am not knowing about the knowing.
I think it was real close to the other one because it seemed like it was like within a year or two. It was like, why does Nick Cage keep dying in all these movies? Like it was like one right after another. So it was. I'm pretty sure it was close to the Wicker Man. Well, that's about all I remember is him dying. That's it.
All right. Well, I'm excited to talk about Ghost Rider from 2007. That was the first Ghost Rider Nicolas Cage because it's a comic book movie. I'm not a fan of Ghost Rider from the comics necessarily. I'm a fan of the concept of Ghost Rider, selling your soul to the devil basically, and becoming Flaming Skull Justice Man, sort of. Like, I thought that was a kind of a neat thing. He's a demon, but he's sort of doing things for the right reason. He's an anti-hero. I like anti-heroes. I thought he was a weird choice, though. Whenever I thought of the person that becomes Ghost Rider, I totally would not have thought of Nicolas Cage. That was a weird casting choice, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. He's been trying to get into superhero stuff for a while. He was supposed to be Superman and stuff.
Yeah,
He loves superheroes so much. Even his kid's named Superman. So
yeah.
um, Kal-El or whatever.
That was
It
a
was good that
cheesy
he had
ass
the
movie.
the first Ghost Rider.
It was super cheesy. Like
Yeah, it was.
all the villain dialogue was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to burn you, aren't I?" Or like just stupid crap.
It was cool with Peter Fonda as the old Ghost Rider because I thought that was kind of neat. And then Sam Elliott or Peter Fonda was Mephisto. Sorry, he was the devil. Sam Elliott
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
caretaker, the old. Except he didn't do anything,
Yeah,
and
he
the
didn't do
whole
anything except ride his horse, which was cool. I like the moments where that was a surprise to me a little bit, where Sam Elliott kind of bursts into flames and he's like, "One last ride, dude,"
right.
and so he just
That was
that was
sweet.
it. Yeah, it was sweet. It was cool, but like that's all he does. He just goes from one end of a desert to another end, and that's it. That's all he does.
And they had the character of Blackheart, which is an excellent character, but I know him more from the Daredevil comics, not so much. There's a lot of carryover with characters between Ghost Rider, Punisher, and
Yeah,
Daredevil. They're all kind of like the anti-hero genre, so you see a lot of the same. But I don't think they did a very good job of Blackheart. I thought the second Ghost Rider
yeah,
they did a better job with the Decay guy and with the special
yeah, yeah.
effects and stuff because it looked pretty good.
Well, we can go ahead and jump into that one if you want, because the second one I have a similar amount of things to say about the second Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, I know it more than I do the first one.
That one had a more of the crazy Nicolas Cage, like in those moments where he's just freaking out. And one of the great lines that sticks out to me, and I'm probably gonna butcher the line, paraphrasing. He's got some guy that he's intimidating, and he's got like half Ghost Rider. He's like, "It's trying to come out. The demon is scratching at the door. He's scratching
Yeah,
at the
I
door,
saw
and
that.
I want to let him out."
Oh yeah,
he,
yeah, yeah. I wrote that line down too.
yeah,
That was a freaking. I think that's the best line of the whole movie,
it
man. I think
is. It's got
he was
like
trying to do a believable job, but it was so bad. I
yeah.
bet you without the special effects, I bet he just looks like a weirdo.
Just looks like regular Nicolas Cage without the special effects. This is his
Yeah,
daily life. Scratching at like he's got a dog or a cat and it's like outside. He's like, "Somebody let in the dog. It's scratching at the door."
that and when he's talking to the kid about what do you do when you got to pee,
Yeah.
and he's like, it's like a flamethrower, and
Yeah.
then
It's
the
awesome.
old guy, the guy from the Terror or whatever, that the bad guy. He mentioned it. He's like, you know how I got these scars? He's talking about
Oh
it getting
yeah,
peed
yeah.
on, and it's like, what? What? You had to do a callback to the freaking
Well, no.
napalm pee?
Well, is that what they're saying? Because I just assumed it was the kid was just thinking of that, and that's why the kid laughs when he says that.
Yeah, it must have been, but he didn't correct him, so I don't know if it was him remembering it or him showing the kid or what. But it was funny that they like did a callback to the same cutscene of Ghost Rider whizzing, and
Yeah.
that's just silly.
I love the Spirit of Vengeance. I love it for the visuals. I love it for the weird shit that you get to see. You get to see Ghost Rider with Flaming Skull being shot in the face with a machine gun from one of the bad guys, and he just takes
Yeah.
it in the mouth like ah, and then just fucking vomits back out all of the like lava and bullets like right into the guy's face. I fucking loved it. And he like
When he
takes,
does that,
Go ahead.
where he stares at the guy and like scares him or shows him their whatever their sins, they did too much of that, and they really weren't explaining what the guy was seeing. They just had him like looking at him, and they didn't do the back and forth like they did in the first movie,
That's true.
where he would do that to a guy, and then the guy would like see his past or something. I think
Yeah.
they kind of missed that. Like they were gonna put it in, but they didn't do it, and all you see is him just hold the guy and like scream at him like, "Bleh," and it didn't
Yeah.
like go anywhere. And I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell? And
Isn't that like when he turns to ash, or like he makes the guy turn to ash or something with his he gets
well,
a
he does
chain
it.
around him or
He
something?
he grabs about 4 or 5 different guys in this Ghost Rider 2 and does that, but they never do the cutscene like they do in the first one when he does it. When he grabs a guy and like scares, he puts the guy into like melts his brain because he's so messed up from what he sees. But
Yeah.
they didn't convey that in the second one when he was doing it. And
Yeah.
I liked when he got shot with the rocket launcher, and that was
Oh
pretty
yeah, that
cool.
was cool. Yeah,
Then
see,
he
all
lands
the
on that.
visuals and action stuff were really cool. Like all the story and stuff wasn't great.
Yeah, where he's a pill junkie in the beginning, I didn't like that. I thought that was cheesy, where he's all half looking, trying to steal pills and stuff because he
Yeah.
can't deal with being Ghost Rider.
Was it Idris Elba Idris
Yeah,
Elba. Well, he was the guy that like finds him, right?
yeah. Drinking the wine. He was
Yeah,
terrible
yeah.
part. Terrible, terrible. Oh, it was so bad.
Well,
Yeah, that
okay.
was.
There's a few. I got to touch on the great visuals, though. The few moments that I really liked. He gets in the giant machine. What did you say it was? What kind of machine was that?
It's
The
like
big
a.
construction
It's like
machine
a
thing.
big coal digger or something. It's some kind of a digging machine.
They do a great thing where it's like Ghost Rider can take over any vehicle that he, is a part of or whatever, and so he turns it into a giant wheel, flaming wheel of
Yeah,
death, and just like crushes people and shit. That looks awesome. He also gets in like a, I don't know if it's a Humvee or some type of Jeep or something on the road during a chase, and he turns that into his fucking Ghost Rider car, and like that was pretty cool. And he,
I
like,
like when he's riding on the back of the truck during that first scene, and he can like call his bike up next to him, like it comes
yeah,
up like all on fire and stuff. And I was like, man, that's the bike looked pretty good.
yeah,
His outfit with all like the melted tar on it and stuff was kind of cool. It kind of looked gooey, but it was cool. And
yeah.
I don't think they did enough with the chains because they used the chains a lot more in the first one, and
It is
not so
cool.
much in this one.
At
But
at
they
the
did a
end,
good.
I mean, spoiler alert for Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, if anybody wants to watch it. But I loved at the end where he grabs, is it Mephisto, dude, the old guy, and like throws him
Mhm.
up in the air, grabs him with the chain, and says "Back to hell," and then just
Yeah,
tosses him down to the ground. I love that shit.
and it shows him melting and stuff as he goes into the lava and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
It was great.
I think I
And
saw
when
it in 3D in the theater, and one of the other good moments was when he's getting the Ghost Rider shit taken out of him, and they do like a weird thing where he's in like a white room with nothing, a white void basically, and like a bunch of weird visuals where there's like chains coming out of his mouth and all kinds of shit. It looked really cool in 3D.
I bet there are some pretty good scenes in there where I bet that was a pretty good scene. And they did try to do their best with some comedy and stuff. And I like when the kid pukes it back into him at the end because that was pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, that was a great scene too. When the kid
Yeah,
jumps on him, it's like, just giving him back the powers, just fucking spitting that evil back into him. Fucking love
yeah,
that
they
shit.
did a good job. The fire look, that's what CGI is for this kind of effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why you have CGI is to do characters this way. The story could use a little tweaking. Cast needs a little tweaking.
They made this Ghost Rider look like you said, like his clothing looked gooey and shit, but the skull also was like a charred blackened skull, whereas in the first one it's like a perfectly white polished skull.
Yeah, I like the first. Yeah, the first one I thought the skull looked better, but I like the second one how it had the smoke. Like it was believable looking smoke coming off it.
uh,
I thought that was kind of neat. It was a little bit different. Where in the first one it was mostly just fire, but that's just minor
yeah, the second
minor
one
details.
was like way more heavy on the cool visuals, and I think that's really what they were banking on. And I mean I liked it for what it was. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I mean they the cast was outstanding. They had I think there was more people in it than I realized. I thought it was a bunch of cheesy, but actually if you go through it and watch it, there's a lot of good actors on that movie.
Yeah,
They tried.
yeah they
I don't know
tried.
why it's
Sometimes it's just that's what they're handed. Like here's the script, and they're like, "Come on, man! Like I'm a good actor. You're gonna make me say these lines."
right, or it's like Cloud Atlas or something where yeah, you can throw all kinds of money in visual effects, but man, it just if it ain't there, it ain't there.
By the way, the chill cast, and we're both drinking beers. So cheers to you, my friend.
Yeah, cheers to you. But I thought the decay guy was cool when he
Yeah, that's cool.
comes up on him and he was trapped under that rock. He's, he was like half dead. It looked good. It looked because he just got his ass handed to him by Ghost Rider, so he was just like, ugh. But then when he handed that power and it did the cheesy thing with the Twinkie in the cab of the
Oh
truck.
yeah, that was funny.
I was like, come on.
It's super cheesy, but like, I mean, it's dumb, but like, they threw in a little lighthearted comedy. That's okay.
If people haven't seen it, he grabs an apple and it like rots, and then he grabs something else and it rots,
Yeah,
and then
he's
he grabs
hungry.
a
He's trying
Twinkie
to
and
eat.
it don't even change. It don't
Yeah.
even. And he like pops it and like smushes it into his mouth. Like, what kind of animal eats a Twinkie like that? Drives me crazy every time I see that.
Did you ever see Bangkok Dangerous?
Yeah, that's a decent.
That was a fun little action movie.
Yeah, it's almost like a not Jet Li, but it's like a low budget little action flick. Yeah, it was a fun movie. I watched it like once or twice. I don't remember a lot, but I remember it was
Yeah.
decent.
I don't remember it all that well either. It seemed like weren't most of the scenes shot at night? It seemed like a dark movie.
Yeah, dark and raining,
Yeah, yeah, like a dark, wet movie.
like a Singapore, well, Bangkok or whatever. But it's yeah,
Kick-Ass. I loved Kick-Ass as its own movie, and I forgot that he was in that movie. Kick-Ass was fun. I really liked Kick-Ass. And he played the quote-unquote Batman character, the Big Daddy. And that was
yeah.
weird. His weird, like, inflection of his voice. Well, they should call you, Ass Kick. Ha.
I liked him because he always had his daughter training. Like it was like he was like a maniac.
That's probably
Uh,
the best,
but it was kind of funny, you know.
yeah. His daughter, Chloe Grace Moretz, in that movie, Hit Girl. That was like the first time I really thought she was fucking awesome. She was awesome in that movie.
Yeah, yeah. And I only liked the first one. I really, I don't like the second one at all.
Yeah, the first
It
one
just,
could have been a standalone. They didn't need a sequel.
I like them as young kids. I don't like them when they're older. It just, they're wearing the same kind of goofy outfits. Didn't, it just didn't work for me. I liked them when they were younger and it was more
Yeah.
silly and,
Christopher Mintz-Plasse, the guy that played McLovin. He's the young villain guy, the son of the gangster
oh,
guy.
right.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
he
that
hasn't
was-
done anything in a minute. He
Nah,
hasn't been
not
around
really.
in a while.
I Kick-Ass was really cool to me because it was like it was really dark. Like it got very very dark. It played itself off, toward the beginning as being sort of a lighthearted, goofy take on what if superheroes were real, and then in the end, it's like fucking. Here's another spoiler bit. But at the
10
end, like
years
people
earlier.
are burning alive, like the little girls stabbing, like impaling people, cutting their heads off and shit, and fucking Nicolas Cage is like burning alive, and like that's her dad, and it's like it's good. It's good because it's a nice revenge film to me. It was kind of a lighthearted, goofy comic thing, but also I like a good revenge film where people get what they deserve in the end, and this one delivers, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a good, yeah, payback movie for sure. I love payback movies. That's great.
Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't remember that one very well.
I liked it because they did the whole mirror thing where he got thrown, like cast it, into the mirror world. I
Was he
guess
the
it
bad
is.
guy?
Well, the bad guy threw Nicolas Cage into the mirror,
So
and he was trapped.
so Nicolas Cage was the sorcerer.
Yeah, yeah, he was the good guy, and he was teaching the other kid. I really liked it, but it's been a few years since I've seen it. But I thought they did a decent job. I don't know. It's no Harry Potter, but it's
Yeah.
worth watching.
Seems more like a Percy Jackson and the Olympians kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I bet you. I wouldn't doubt it if it was the same special effects people.
I mean, that's what the title looks like anyway. It looks like
But
the same font.
The bad guy was Alfred Molina. Wasn't he the bad guy in Spider-Man 2 that played the
Alfred
octopus?
I
Dr.
don't
Ock.
think so.
I'm wrong.
Or wait,
I
no,
know.
but you might be right. I don't think I know that guy's name very well.
Same guy. So yeah, he did it. He was good. He was like a competing, like an evil sorcerer, and Nick Cage was like like a white wizard, and he's fighting the black wizard. And they all had their own. Nick Cage had his apprentice, which was Jay Baruchel or whatever. He's not a very good
Okay.
actor.
I know him from several things.
And then Alfred Molina had his own stooge, but he was like terrible. Like he was like just the worst apprentice that he could have, and it was funny. It was kind of comedic how bad he really was. So it was a decent movie.
Do you remember Season of the Witch?
Ooh, not much.
I remember a lot of that one. Not super specific, but it's basically like there was a witch, and he didn't believe she was a witch, but everybody else said she's a witch, and he's supposed to like transport her to a place, and then it turns out she. That's another spoiler right there. Turns out she is a fucking witch, and he shouldn't have believed her. And then he fights the witch at the end, and it's kind of a nobody should really care about that movie.
There's some decent people. I mean, Ron Perlman was in it, and Claire Foy was in it, and Christopher Lee was even in it. Besides that, I mean, I don't remember. I remember it kind of being like The Witcher, or kind of like a
It's a medieval
Van Helsing,
type.
or a
Or
yeah.
He was like part of the Crusades or something, and now he's more like a monk or something. I don't fucking
Right.
remember.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
Drive Angry. I definitely saw that one. Do you remember that one?
A little bit.
I think
But it
that
was,
was one of the first ones that was like shot like for 3D. Like everything they were doing in the movie was shot from a camera that was recording things specifically for 3D.
Oh, probably, huh?
I think so. and I might be mistaken, but I think, and I don't remember fucking shit about it. I couldn't tell you anything that happens in that.
They had Amber Heard was in it. That's all, and the guy from Revolution or whatever was in it, and the crippled guy from Mom was in it. That's all I remember, and that's about it. I don't remember anything about the story. I just remember some of the people that were in it.
Left Behind is one of those weird ones. Sometimes Nicolas Cage takes small movie performances, and this was like a straight to Redbox style movie, and I think it had like religious undertones. I think Left Behind. Yeah, it's like the people after the rapture, after like God took people away, a bunch of weird stuff started happening, and then him and a group of people were left behind, and they had to like figure things out, and it had like religious messages or something.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I wanted to. Yeah, it's a bunch of planes and stuff were falling out of the sky, like
Yeah.
empty. There was like no people in them, and they didn't know what was going on. Yeah, it seems like an interesting, kind of like right up my alley, but I never got it. He went through this whole phase where man he was putting out a movie every month, and they were not good. So I kind of
Yeah, he just taking whatever he felt like taking.
I got off the Nick Cage bandwagon for a few years. That's when I need to go back and watch. It seems like it's an interesting. I like them kind of stories.
Well, I imagine
Like
as
that.
like an A-list actor, it's probably nice to take like a lower budget role, like a smaller film every now and then. It's probably a little more relaxing.
I think he owed money, but he has like this really weird like art collection and stuff. Like he's got these really weird tastes. So you wonder how he can be broke. Well, he spends his money on really weird stuff.
Holy shit! Did you see Mom and Dad? That came out 2017.
Boy, he did a whole bunch of turds here.
Yeah,
What
he
was the next
did.
one?
Mom and Dad. That was so interesting. Let me
Ooh, that
explain
sounds weird.
the the story behind Mom and Dad. All of the parents in the world start losing their minds and start trying to kill their children. So,
Yeah, it's what I'm reading here.
and the
That sounds
parents,
pretty good.
it's pretty good. Like the parents have good reasons for hating their children because their children are fucking asshole little shits. But they just lose like something in the air or something going on makes all the parents lose their mind and want to kill all their children. And it's so fucking bizarre
Wow.
and
Yeah, I
funny.
want to watch that now.
It's
I
funny.
should watch.
You should. It's interesting. And well, damn. Now I don't want to. It's not like a big spoiler thing, but like if you're a parent to a child, you also have parents that are still living. That means those parents are going to come after you too. Grandma and grandpa are going to try to kill you while you're trying to kill your children.
It doesn't
and
just
it's
end with your
fucking-
parents. It
No.
goes on and on.
No, it's really fucking awesomely weird.
That looks really good. I'd never even heard of that. I'm gonna have to check that out. That looks hilarious.
I'm not gonna say it's like a fantastic movie, but I will say that was a fun watch, and you should.
Because
See
I like
that one.
movies where it's like the crazies, where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get infected and people start getting weird. And
Yeah, it's neat. It's a fun one.
is it a slow burn or does it
No,
start out with him?
No, it's a fairly quick, enjoyable thing. It's fun. It's not like an artistic thing. It's more like a parody, a spoof. It's like it's self-aware. It knows that it's not meant to be taken seriously.
That was pretty recent. That's 2017. So,
Yeah.
I must have went straight to DVD. I never even
Yeah,
saw a
yeah.
commercial or nothing.
Yeah, nobody knew much about that one. And you haven't seen Mandy yet, right?
No, that's on my list.
I
For sure.
I already did a review on Mandy, so I'm not going to say a whole bunch. I'm not going to spoil anything, whatever. It was an interesting one. I'll tell you, it was the ideas were interesting. Some people say it was fantastic and amazing. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was interesting.
Well, I heard it was kind of like a cult, like a
Yeah.
done like an independent type. Well, I think it is independent, but whatever. It's and that's fine. I like those kind of movies. So yeah,
It's not just the independent like cult classic kind of thing. It literally deals with cults also.
oh, cool.
It's yeah. By the end, I was like, "What the fuck?" But that's a little bit. I wouldn't call it a slow burn, but I'd say there are slow scenes that kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah, they got some creepy looking people in that cast, so I bet it is a good one.
Since you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna talk too much about it. If you're gonna watch it, then you guys should watch it.
No, go ahead if you want to include something for this. I don't care. I don't mind if you spoil it. So
No, that's
Go ahead
no.
if
I
you wanna
don't
talk
want to
about
spoil it for everybody else because I know there are several other people that haven't seen it that would like to see it, and that's cool. I think it should be watched because I'd like to hear other people's opinions on it. I didn't love it. I only sort of liked it. but a lot of people thought it was fucking the bee's knees.
I'll give it a whirl. Who knows? Like, I usually like everything. There's only a couple times I actually absolutely hate something, and Nick Cage usually does. He's a solid 6.5, 6.5 out of 10
Yeah,
overall. I think.
overall, yeah.
Uh,
But there is a great scene in Mandy. Oriel, there's actually several great scenes of Nick Cage. It's almost like some of the scenes have like the evolution of Nick Cage crazy, and like it like comes to a boil when he's like in the bathroom in his underwear chugging vodka out of a bottle on the toilet and just going nuts, just being crazy Nick Cage, and it's kind of worth it for some of those scenes.
yeah, that's what that's the whole reason I like him when he kind of lets it go because
Yeah.
I heard he's a real handful to work with when he's trying to get into the zone or whatever. I can just imagine.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that's true.
Well, there was Next, and that was an excellent movie where he could kind of see what was coming, and then he would
That's the one
sneak around. And,
yeah, I get that one mixed up with Knowing. I
and
forget.
well, Knowing's the one where the aliens are coming to take all the kids, and they get the stones. Knowing's got one of the best plane crash scenes I think I've ever seen in my life. Like where the plane, he knows it's coming, something's going to happen at that GPS coordinate or whatever, and he's there like in traffic and it's raining, and he's like, he doesn't know what's going on, and all of a sudden here comes this airplane and it crashes and like goes across like a 8-lane highway and just pieces everywhere. There's people strapped in seats on fire,
Yeah,
people in jet fuel on fire. I mean, it's like the most, that scene
I thought that
alone.
was Next. Is that Knowing, or does that happen
That's
in both
Knowing.
those movies?
No, Next is where he's trying to get away from the government. What's her face is chasing him around and stuff.
But he can see
Knowing,
the future, right? Like, does he have abilities in Knowing? Like, does he have some weird abilities or something?
No, in Knowing he gets the little girl. She got a message from the aliens, and then she was writing it down, and then she got stuck in a closet, and then she scratched the stuff into the door with her fingernails, and then her letter got put into a time capsule with the rest of her class, and then 20 years later they opened the time capsule and his son got the letter and it was a bunch of numbers and he was going through it because he's a mathematician or something, and he was seeing patterns or something in it, and then he went and talked to his buddies at the university about it, and then stuff started happening and it started matching up the dates, the day and everything, and so then he could foresee where something was going to happen, and then it got to where there was nothing, and he didn't know what that meant, and he knew something was coming. He just didn't know what it was. But then it was the black rocks and the mom that had the daughter, and man, it was great. I mean, I loved the ending, even though it was kind of a real weird twist. I thought it was a good movie.
Okay. You haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, right? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated thing yet?
No, the one with Miles Morales. No.
Yeah. Do you have any desire to see that one?
I'll watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it when it comes out on cable or something. I like that alternate Spider-Verse or whatever. I like that whole storyline.
I was not interested in that storyline at all, but this movie is fucking phenomenal. Into the Spider-Verse is so fucking good, and Nicolas Cage plays Spider-Man Noir. He's like the dark, brooding version, from like
the
detective
30s
type
or whatever.
guy and shit. And he's so fucking funny. I wish he had more lines. He's so hilarious. Everything he says in that movie is so funny. And that's fucking fantastic. I really, really recommend that movie.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one. I like the comics and the cartoon and stuff too. So, and that's the one. Didn't they have Spider-Ham in that one too?
Yeah, I actually thought the Spider-Ham.
Peter Porker.
Yeah, I thought him which was funny. Done by John Mulaney, the voice of Spider-Pig guy.
Oh, cool. He's a good comedian.
But I thought the inclusion of Spider-Ham and the anime Spider-Girl mech spider thing, I didn't like that. I mean, but they're like, other people would like it. I didn't care for that. I didn't think they needed it in there.
I saw that in the trailer. I thought that was I thought it was neat. I mean, it was weird, but I thought it was kind of a different, the girl with the robot. I thought that was kind of neat. I mean, it was weird, but I got a kick out of it.
I don't feel like it's necessary, but...
Because how many ways can you... you got to make it interesting. I mean, there's only so many ways you can make a Spider-Man. I mean, you got to make something. You got to sell toys, man. They all can't look the same.
And actually, the Spider-Gwen character, I actually liked her more than I thought I would, because I really think that's a dumb idea that they did with the comics, and I don't think... I didn't want to like it, but I thought I liked her character in the movie.
But Nick Cage was the noir
Yeah, he's so funny. I wish he had more
Spider-Man.
lines. I really do. Nicolas Cage has had a long, strange career. He's a maniac and or a genius. I enjoyed talking about him and his films with you, Chakra Zoo.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good talk.
Thank you for being here with me and having the chat, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
If you guys have anything to say about Nicolas Cage or any of his movies, you can put them in the comments. I always love to read the comments. And good times. Thanks for watching. And catch you back on the next one of the movie talks. See you later, guys.
Peace.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we did it. We
I
fucking
was cracking
did it.
up.
High five. Nailed
Yeah,
it.
right on.